This is episode 224 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dio Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel. We got a Hulk Manzano.
I was wondering what you were gonna do. I didn't put a nickname this time.
Will, best tournaments are with your teammates. Hagwood.
Just reply. Words.
Insert reply here.
I just smiled. I was like, yeah, they are. In my head. Never mind. Keep going. Keep going.
And Ryan Tooltime Staniszewski.
Yeah, just all the house fixings this weekend. New AC, brand new concrete patio, and back third of my driveway. I did none of it, but I'll take credit for it because it's my house.
He stands outside his porch and goes, it was good. We did a good job. Good job writing the checks, right? All right, everybody. Well, announcements and news. Honestly, the biggest one coming up is Tatooine is next weekend. If you're planning on playing, it is time to get your tickets now. We have 6 days before the next premier level tournament here at Gold Squadron. If you were pending previously on tabletop.to, you have now been accepted if you followed the rules, and not the rules specifically, but the instructions, meaning that you completely filled out all the forms before you go. Please do not email me without filling out forms, because that's probably why you're pending, or I just haven't done it yet, which is a possibility, which then I just ask for patience. Which now, since we're in the last week, I'll start checking more often. But I definitely got some emails in the middle of the XTC, like we're like actively streaming. Hey, I'm pending. I'm like, I'm busy. I'm a little busy right now. All right, but you know what? The talk of the hour, guys. Last weekend, yesterday, we finalized the XTC. Months of games, Swiss games. You know, it's interesting how a tournament that previously, was 2 days, right? The in-person version is 2 days, stretched out into this massive thing because of our current pandemic situation and all that. But honestly, overall, I think it was good for the XTC. I think more people care now about the XTC overall because it ended up getting stretched out, which allowed hype to build for the teams. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think definitely on this on outside of the teams that were already participating. When we went in 2019, we were the first non-European team to really be out there, and with your platform, you were over there and you were streaming the games, and then you were also part of the world tour. I think that amplified the reach a little bit, so that's where it started getting a little bit more known outside of Europe. I think it's always been big in Europe. It just kind of pushed it out to a new audience, and like you said, just with COVID and with not having the burden of trying to scrounge up a couple $1,000s per player to basically take a week off of work and do the flights and hotels and food and pay whatever registration fees, et cetera. It just opened it up to more teams that typically don't travel, and it also opened it up to more players that typically, even within their own country, don't travel. So I would even say like the European teams, there's teams in Europe there's players in Europe that don't, they play locally. They don't get out beyond their local scene because they just don't enjoy it as much. It gave them that opportunity as well. So, yeah, I would say that it's been a steady climb, and I think that's one of the, we got to look at the bright side, and that's one of the bright sides. That's one of the positives that came out of everybody being on lockdown.
I agree. Well, we're gonna start by just looking at the standings. I think that's a perfect place for us to get started.
I really like the round robin style because it's not like I want to say we're like, oh well, I never played that guy. You know what I mean? Like, how could they they're that team. You know what I mean? Like, how could they be in the winners circle if we never played them? So I think the format worked out pretty great. We got a lot of games, 90 games streamed. I want to say like over 300 games played. It was quite the weekend.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So here we go. Let's flip over to the pairing, not the pairings, the final standings. I'm sorry.
I'm curious. Yeah, no, I mean, Will and I kind of gave our take, but we, me from very early, like I started this whole process back in January, because in January is when I started, we started talking about, is it going to happen? Is it going to be online? Yada, yada. And then going through the recruitment process. So my head's been XTC since January.
Right.
William was one of the first people to be on the team, but I'm just curious for you, which you were involved as a streamer, and then for Ryan, who basically was just listening to what we were talking, and then also, life, dealing with everything that life brings, promotions and babies and all that, and wondering just like what your take on it was, and then what Ryan's take on it was as well. Like, what was your, like, how did it occur to you?
Take it, Ryan.
So, I mean, I was familiar with the XTC when the first USA team got invited. Was it 2 years ago now, or is it one? Is it one?
Yeah,
year and a half,
2019.
whatever.
Yeah.
The last time it happened, I was like, that's a really cool trip. Maybe one day I will have the financial capability to also make that trip with them and enjoy if I'm invited on the team, because that seems like a really cool thing to do. Circa COVID, now we did everything online, which, as Marcel and Will alluded to a whole bunch, it was a huge benefit to get as many of the teams and players from around the world, because it is a much better worldwide feel. I think it would be a missed opportunity if we didn't see, even when we all go back to normal life, whatever that may entail or be, I think it'd be a missed opportunity if there wasn't an online version and an in-life version. And whether that in-life version is still more of a European-centric, but always open to the travelers. But then you have an online version that's just now another annual thing. Or biannual. Maybe every 2 years, you do every other year. One is more focused on the in-person, one's more focused on the online. Or you just have it, they're both annual, they're just at different opposite ends of the year, so people aren't trying to pick one or the other. They could do both if they wanted to. So, but yeah, Marcel definitely, like, I'm glad. So, transparency, Marcel did ask me to go on the team at one point, but I told him, for the interest, to make sure that if I wanted to be on this, I wanted to be fully committed to it, and I knew I couldn't do that because, the summer of my wife being pregnant and getting all the house and everything prepared. And looking back, I'm glad I made that decision. There are definitely some times and weekends that, especially just this past weekend, there was a lot of baby shower prep going on. So I could not have participated most likely in the finals, and I would have felt really bad.
Yeah. So for me, as an outsider looking in, I want to bounce a little bit off of what Ryan was saying. And this is a public call out, just a little bit. All right. I mean, that's what people listen to podcasts for, a little bit of tea. All right. So I think if the organizers of the XTC don't do this online again, I think they would be in for some negative press. I think just a little bit, because you automatically scoop away half the teams. They just can't participate because of all the reasons we just talked about. And I mean, I'll just say it. If they don't do it, somebody else will. Cough, cough, cough. So they should do it. They should do it. And talking on the positive side, I think it's been great for the community. I think it's been great. Now, some of the things that need to be addressed, like do people want more team tournaments? I know a lot of people, kind of being on the outside looking in and being like, I think I kind of want to be part of something like that. But I will say, like, this format, seven-person teams, it takes a ton of work. Like Marcel said, you were working on it since, you said January, Marcel?
Yeah, January was when we started talking about dates and the like how it's going to happen, and started putting in my role in that, because obviously Bartos and Filippo did, it's their event, like they're the ones
Right.
that put it together. I was in the conversation early, just because I inserted myself in it, and also because I wanted representation from teams outside of Europe as that opportunity. So I inserted myself. And I remember, I don't know if you remember, Dion, but back in January, I told you, hey, Dion, give me the list of all the Latin American community leaders that you know, because
Yep.
I'm going to be reaching out to all of them. So in January, it's when I started reaching out to Colombia, Peru, Argentina, Chile, all of them, Brazil. So yeah, I started recruiting. Before I started recruiting for Team USA, I started recruiting for Latin America. I started recruiting captains for Latin America and Colombia, and talking to all those. So I got started pretty early with that.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And if you look at the top four, which we're going to address here really quickly, I mean, we got countries from four different parts of the world in the top four of this tournament that had 38 different teams in it. Like, it shows the diversity of X-Wing in location, but also it's awesome that we had so many different, people from so many different countries participate.
Strong continental representation.
That's right. That's right.
Top four, all from different continents.
Now here is, by the way, Marcel. These guys don't know I had this question, but it came to mind. I figure why not put them on the spot. So, can I tell you a very common argument I saw, which was it bothered me just a little bit because there was a little bit of armchair quarterbacking going on, and that is like, well, why did that person get to be on the team? And why aren't I on the team? And who elected them the president of United States X-Wing and all that? Like, it's interesting. Do you think, like, we need to have more online events? More events that have like United States, like, qualifiers or something like that? I don't know. What are your thoughts going forward? Like, they're starting to have a conversation of like, oh, how do we get more people involved in this whole process?
Okay, so I think the first answer to the question is who, at a more individual level, who elected me jury foreman. Oh no, wait, that's Polly Shore. It was you, Dion. They wanted you to run it. They wanted you to build Team USA and take it over there. And you said, I don't have time for it. Marcel, can you? And I said yes. As far as the selecting Team USA and who got picked and who didn't, the only thing that we can do is just put out the announcements as you probably didn't hear any of that, Dion. Your headphones were off. But
I know some of the answer. Continue. Go ahead. Just continue.
Anyway, I'm saying that first you were asked to lead it. You say you couldn't do it back in 2019, so you asked me to, and that's how I personally got involved as team captain going back a couple of years. Now, again, the only thing that we can do is put it out there through the only channels that we have. Mm-hmm. Which was the Gold Squadron podcast, which happens to be the largest podcast in X-Wing. So that's a pretty big channel. And then through the Fly Better page, which is probably the largest Facebook group in X-Wing. Mm-hmm. And everybody got the invitation. So everybody got an invitation. And then as far as going for the personal selections, I'll admit that was 100% me just making decisions on my own based on tournament results and based on conversations I had with you, Dion, because you see more X-Wing than anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
You
I mean,
stream it and you see it. Yeah.
One of the conversations we had, right, was when we were looking at the list is, I know it's kind of like a cliche statement, but it's like, what have you done for me lately? Right? Because all we had is, like you said, first layer of entry is, did you fill out the application? Right? Did you fill out the applications, level 1, which means like you're paying attention right now to X-Wing, and the second one is, what's your track record? Have you been playing actively? Meaning you're mentally engaged in X-Wing. And every single person that was on the team was somebody who's been playing in the major events, whether that be the Gold Squadron events, Hexiled, or other local events, and we're doing well. And everybody who was on the team falls into that category.
And then one other piece of criteria that I had, which was level of engagement, because there were people like, yeah, I'll go, and there were people like I'll say Matt Carey and Carson Ray, that as soon as there was, even before I put an application out, they were reaching out like, hey, I want to be part of this. So knowing that it's going to be a 4 or 5 month thing, that's also important. Is, are you going to burn out? And if we start doing badly, like if we're one of the teams that are 1-4, are you going to show up for game number 6? Like we owe it to the rest of the group to try as hard at last place to play Kingmaker than to try to make the cut. So there was a lot of things that going into it, but it was ultimately it was I'll take ownership for that. It was me, whether you liked the team or didn't like the team. It was my call at the end, and I took that route out of advice from Ali, because Ali's been team captain for different UK teams and for the last 5 years, and he said, if you do a democracy, if you do this, it's not going to work. The only way that it's ever really functioned is when you have someone that is willing to take the criticism and make the calls. So that's kind of what it was.
So if I'm an up and coming X-Wing player and I want my shot on my local team in my area, it sounds like what I need to do is be an active tournament player who has good results, has a good attitude, and is ready to do the work. That sounds like that's like the base criteria to have a chance. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's definitely not a personal thing. Like William was not selected because he's part of the cast. Is because he had.
Yeah, I feel like I had to defend myself after
yeah,
that.
because you got
I was on there
belts
automatically or whatever.
Well, you had like 3 belts. You had, when I say belts, is like you won the Gold Squadron, the first Gold Squadron Galaxies or Jam.
It was Space Jam.
The Jam, yeah.
But so we played on like the Team Vassal tournament. Me and just the most random of people, Andrew, Sam, and oh my god, now I can't. Now I'm forgetting his name now. Oh my god, they're gonna burn. No, German Australian. I want to say Martin, but that's not right. Oh man,
the German Australian.
Man, Marcus.
Yeah,
thank you. I don't know why I slipped. Sorry, Marcus, but. Anyways, that random team of mercenaries, we went to the finals at Crate Cup, the last Crate Cup that it was held. So I have some experience, but also I work with I work closely with Marcel, so like it's easy to as you guys said, like I am engaged and stuff and whatnot. So
you had the receipts, Will. You had the receipts.
Yeah, he does, and I don't think anybody. I mean, he's multiple-time Adepticon champion. I mean, he's got plenty of titles under his belt, so I don't think anybody questioned that or should have questioned that. And there's people on there that I've never met before that made the team because of their pure merit. Kenneth, Steve Cotillo, people that I talked to the first time was the invitation.
That's right. All right, cool. I wanted to get that out of the way because kind of there's, as we wrap this up, we put a bow on it. it's going to come up again, right? It's going to come up again. So if you want a chance, be active.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be that way, and it doesn't have to be me. That's definitely for sure. What I'm saying is, next year, if there's a different format or something else, we'll do that. But that's what I just felt was the best for this year, because that's where I felt we had holes when we went to Poland. That's where we struggled, is that everybody was kind of doing their own thing. Nobody kind of, it was like the Wild West. We all did what we wanted, and at the end of as a result, we weren't prepared, and we didn't do as well as I think we could have.
That's right. And you know what? I will say what I'm excited to in what the narrative of XTC now for the United States will be. Where from here? 29 first appearance. Was it 6th or is that where we were? Right, we were at 6th place. Now this time, 2nd place with the same record as the winning team. Now head to head, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we still have the same record, and we'll see where it goes from here, because the narrative is either the United States, the fall from grace, or they found what the missing pieces. They worked harder in order to get first place. Right? Those are the two narratives that are going to come up here when this comes around again. So. That is that. Now, if you want to play in online events and have your opportunity to do, start getting used to playing and show, hey, maybe you have what it takes, and you want to show off for your countrymen. Gold Squadron online events, we have them, the Galactic Championship Series, like use that as a vehicle to get noticed. Like, that is a perfect way to get it done. So you can head over to, you can type !Galaxies if you're watching live. I did see somebody ask that question. And if you're listening later, go to the website, goldsquadronpodcast.com, and we will take care of you. All right, let's break down these standings. Should we start with our predictions first, or should we actually go with the standings? What do you think?
Let's go with the standings first.
All right, give them to me, Will.
In reverse order here. We have Switzerland at 1-8. After them is Team All Ireland at 2-7. After them, Team England with 3-6.
Wait, whoa! What? Can you repeat that one more time?
I believe that's Team England.
Oh.
At 3-6.
Got it.
They lost their tiebreaker to Germany, who also went 3-6. Rip for both of those guys, who were really tucked up in Europe. After that is France, 4-5. Spain at 5-4, as we get into the positive records here. After that, we've already alluded to it. The top 4 is Peru at 6-3, Singapore at 7-2 with, let's get the exact, I want to say it was 36 wins. Correct. Not being corrected, so I assume that's right. Thank you. Yes, Singapore with 36 wins at 7-2. USA at 7-2 and 37 total wins. That's the total wins as throughout the tournament there. Then in first place, congratulations, Team Italy, with a 7-2 record and 38 wins. That's how close it got. Was 38, 37, 36 to decide the top 3.
And I also want to point a couple just factoids in there. One of them is Singapore in 3rd place, beat USA and Italy. So the 3rd place beat both the 2nd and the 1st place. So big ups there. And Peru was the other team to beat Italy and Singapore. We beat Peru. So the top 4 teams, I think we should include Peru in that.
In the discussion, yeah.
And the discussion of who separated themselves this year from the rest of the crowd. Again, no shame on Spain, but I think Peru needs to be part of that conversation because Peru's losses were to the top teams, and Peru beat Singapore and Italy. They lost to us, they lost to England, and I think they lost to Spain as well. And against us with Peru, we could have easily been swapped because we played them round 1, we beat them 4-3, but one of those wins was a final salvo. So we beat them by a final salvo. So it could have very easily been us in 4th and them in 2nd or 3rd. So big ups to Peru. And the other factoid is the 3 teams that were not from Europe are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So, it's not the European Team Championships anymore. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is all the non-Europeans. And the Europeans were 5th through last. Not last, but 5th through 10th.
Dino, can you drag that graphic back over real quick? So
yeah, absolutely.
There was one country that a lot of us had low in our top 3, bottom 3. It showed up in our bottom 3 quite often, and was considered to come from a easy group. France, who granted ended up in 6th place, did show up with still 34 wins, same amount of direct individual wins as Peru. So they were just being edged out, it seems, in most of their matchups as well. But they seem to show up and had the highest win total individually outside of the top 4.
Yep, that's very true, and I think kind of on that same line of thinking, if you look at Spain, sitting in 5th place, they had less individual wins than the 6th place team, the 7th, and the 8th place team. All right, like that tells you that really that 5th through 8th could have been a lot of different orders, and there was individual, a lot of 4-3s happening there in some of those. So it was, it was
Lionheart
tough.
brings up the fact that France is one of the very few. This is how close this tournament was. Is that France was, I think, one of just the 2 teams, I'm double checking it right now, one of the 2 teams to get a 6-1 victory. They did it over Switzerland, and I think the only other one was England over Switzerland as well. Singapore over Switzerland was the other one. I'm double checking. Yeah, so that was the only 2 matchups to go 6-1. Everything else was 5-2 or 4-3, which is absurd to me. It's a team event, though. If you understand the pairings, it does make a lot of sense. But we're expecting maybe a sweep or so, trying not to get swept. So I think that's very interesting. How close things were really coming. Marcel, you said it. We were winning games by final salvo, last shot of the last game, to pull ahead 4-3 in some of those matchups. So super, super close.
So the next thing I want to take a look at before we continue having this conversation is what were our XTC predictions. So we Ryan went back in the archives and found a snapshot from when we were making our predictions. So do we want to start by discussing what we thought was the bottom 3?
Yeah, start with the bottom.
All right. So here we go.
How else are we gonna get here if we don't start at the bottom?
There we go. We'll start right there. I know we got a lot of overlapping there, but here we go. Here were our bottom 3 predictions. Marcel, what were your bottom 3 predictions?
So I had Switzerland, Ireland, and France. And France mostly I threw them there because of the group that they were in. It was just I felt that it was an easier group, and I didn't know how well to trust their coming out of it.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, I had a similar thought process with France, Switzerland I had on there, and then I went with the man, it feels so good if I'm right on England being one of the bottom three, and man, it does feel good. It's the second best feeling besides USA being in the top three, being not first but second, but still there. Marcel, I got to give you credit. You called it all the way since the beginning. You said, even though Ireland was one of the top placing and highest records, you kept saying, you're like, they're going to fall. You said it since the beginning. So good call on that one.
Will?
Yeah, I went pure trash talking here with Spain, who was in our group. England, who was talking a lot of smack. And Germany, who failed me. I had them actually winning the whole thing when we did our very early predictions in the group stage. But man, they let me down in the group stage by barely squeaking in. And I don't know if it was cohesion or lack of planning or what. About Germany wasn't far off though. Germany ended up being fourth, so just out of it.
All right, so for myself, I think I did pretty good. Technically, Marcel, if we were like putting a score here, he beats me on this. So I had Switzerland and Ireland were two of my bottom threes, which literally was 10 and 9. And then I also said Italy, which means it's completely wrong because obviously they were in first place and make me look like a dingus. But I will defend myself and said, hey, I still got 2 out of 3 and literally the bottom, the 10 and the 9. So not too bad there. Not too bad there. Then we go to our previous predictions. Let's head to the top of our predictions. Marcel, let's see how you did.
Yep. So I guessed U.S. and Italy. So I guessed that correctly, and then I guessed Germany. I thought Germany would again. They've got the, if you're looking at recognizable names alone, they've got the dream team. They just couldn't put it together. So I thought Germany was gonna pull it out.
Ryan?
Yeah, I also had U.S. and Italy as in my top 3, 1 and 2, and then I had Peru. So close. I think my initial thought of the 4, and I couldn't figure out which one I had to leave out. So I left out the wrong one, but Singapore was in there, so I feel pretty good about having the top 4 almost correct in my mind.
Will?
All right, I had USA, Peru, and Singapore. So I got 3 of the top 4 right. Betting only on non-European teams did pay off.
And then for myself, very, very similar. I had the same thing as Will. USA, Peru, and Singapore. And as a reminder, because people keep bringing this up, I took back the comment I said where I said Singapore didn't have depth. This was on our this was the first day we were doing, the very first day we were talking about like where things were placing. I literally on that show bet on Singapore at the end. I ended up choosing them to come out of their thing, and I can't live that statement down. Again, notice I did end up putting them in the top 3. Singapore, lots of depth, so much depth, the most depth. All right.
Nah, their depth is only to 7. No more depth beyond 7.
So you know what? Apparently my statement in while I was trying to form my idea did motivate them to 3rd place. So I'm gonna take credit. For them just a little bit. Okay. Now the other thing I wanted to address is I know some folks were a little confused, like 7-2. Like there's 3 teams that are 7-2. How did that get differentiated. Again, we did talk about the overall score. The final total number of wins, individual wins, is how it was determined. So Italy, 7-2, but they had 38 individual wins. The United States 37, and Singapore 36. So it was absolutely awesome being able to talk about these teams, and we'll continue to kind of keep our eye on this national scene. And what I'm excited, guys, is as we continue into the Galactic Championships that are coming up in November, is now a lot more people know some of the players that are on these teams, and keeping an eye on, like, oh, hey, I noticed that this player, is in the top cut of this qualifier. Oh, these XTC players made it and got an invite into the Galactic Championship. Like, there's a lot of narratives here we can start breaking down as we look at these teams. Who from the teams that didn't make it into the final stages perform really well? There's some different angles we can end up looking at that, and I'm excited to have that discussion. So that has been our XTC coverage until
we got one last thing here, Dion. Pull up that tabletop TO for a moment. I'll put the link in there. Pull it up. Show it off to everybody.
Panic.
It's in the Discord. Pull it up.
Oh yeah. So, oops, sorry. Yes, you are correct. I did. I put it in the bullet point.
I saw people mentioning this, but I was like, "What?" I did. Words of MVP and
go read off just that first ranked player there.
The United States Galactic Republic player was the only player in the XTC to go completely undefeated, 9 games over 2 days, flawless, 9-0, and that player was Marcel Manzano.
Woo! Woo!
MVP.
Flawless execution.
MVP.
I'm super excited about it. I'm usually one of the first people to when I win a
tournament, that you're amazing. Right?
When I win a tournament or something, post like, "Hey, look what I won," and blah blah blah. Picture, whatever.
Yeah.
The reason I don't this time because it's a team tournament, and it's how we did, and it's pride in what we did as a group. The team, the games that I had could have easily gone to other people. So it has a lot to do with the pairings. It has a lot to do with the matchups. Now, albeit I didn't get great pairings I think day one I had really good pairings. I only had one even matchup, 1 or 2 even matchups, and then the rest were decent.
Mm-hmm.
Day 2, I didn't have a single good matchup. They were all 4 were either, I think, 2 evens and 2 bads or something like that.
Yeah, we literally kept fading him. Was like, all right. I think we were talking to you up in the last round.
Yeah,
the
last round was like
Django Zam. Now you beat all the other lists, so now you got to beat Django Zam for us.
No, the last one, that was the second to the last. The last one was that 4 ugly, like 1 million false transponder codes, Lando.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Lando Boss Cassage.
Yeah, we're like, no one's beat this, Marcel. You have to, if you're going to be the GOAT, you got to beat down.
Yeah, it actually ended up being.
Coasters.
Yeah, I was afraid of it, but it ended up being. I'm not going to say not as bad, but it was. I think it ended up being like 100-0.
Well, it turns out your ships all can get double tokens, so that helps.
But what helped out the most, more than anything else, and I never played that game like for practice, but the Obi's ability is actually great for that because I would move jammed, then I would spend the force to pop the jam with a free acquire focus, and then take an additional focus as my regular action or an evade. So he kept on trying to get Obi, because I was gonna kill Bosk, but his Bosk was like 64 points and my Obi was 69, so he was trying to do the trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Obi, just because of that ability, always had the additional token to be able to to toss one jam out with the force and then take either the force or the focus or the evade. So that's really like what made the difference on that one. I had no idea, but I think knowing that, I think it's probably not as bad. It's not as bad of a matchup as I thought it would have been, but I was scared of it.
Well, and let's, I'm gonna do my sports commentator thing. I know you're being humble. But without your 9, let's just look at the numbers. Without your 9-0, the United States. Let's say you lose one game, Marcel. The United States is in 3rd place. You lose 2, all of a sudden the United States ends up maybe 5th, 6th place, because all of a sudden some of those 4-3 wins that the United States ended up with end up shifting, right? So I don't want to understate the fact that you went 9-0, because that 2nd place is supported by that 9-0, right? Like, everybody did work on the team, but the fact that you pulled what is a feat helped bring it to that extra level, which, when we go to Team Italy, they also had some very well-performing players. The Italian resistance list player ended up going 7-2. The Italian rebel 8-1. So, I mean, right there,
William went 7-2.
Yeah, exactly.
I lost to Italy and Singapore. Big surprise. But, I mean, what can you do?
All right, so it's it's definitely fun to look at these numbers, but yes, way to go, and the entire team, the entire Team USA. I know that you guys don't have the access that I do, being able to see these guys talk to each other on Discord and plan, being able to just watch some of those conversations. These guys, they put in a ton of work. So, great work.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta give a shout out to Kenneth Lyon, who I think allowed Marcel to get that 9-0. KC is what we call him. Did all the parents and really took a lot of pressure off of Marcel and the whole team in general. We were what do I want to say? I don't know what the words for it is, but the 2 old Muppets in the gallery, or the viewing box or whatever. We were just yelling in Kenneth's ear complaining about our matchups, but he was doing what he needed to do to get the wins we could. So
yeah, I don't know how he did it, because he was pairing and we were all on his ear at the same time, yelling like, "No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. Give it to Doug."
Love it.
Yeah, so yeah, he was a big part of the team, and Tommy as well. Tommy was there supporting us. Had our back at a moment's notice at all times. So I know, Tommy, if you don't feel like you're part of the team, I still think you were the whole time, man. Just knowing that, being able to tap out when you need to take a break, having that option.
There's a lot to say for that cushion, and that cushion almost came in because Matt did oversleep.
Yeah, Matt's,
but
30 seconds before the tournament starts, shows up and says, "We doing parents?"
One other thing I wanted to point out, though, is, today we're only talking about the XTC final stage. Both Tommy and Kenneth won games in the group stage as well that helped get the United States into the final stage. So, even though they didn't actively play in the final stage, they were part of it. So the whole team effort, great job. And yes, the subs are important on these in this type of large format team events. They're extremely important. So if you participate in something like the XTC or something like the XTC, your subs need to be actively involved. They got to be a part. They are literally a part of the team. So that's it is awesome to see. Okay, we're going to move on to our next topic, XTC. We're going to close that book for now, and we will open it when we need to again. We're gonna completely shift gears now, and I want to talk about. Let me make sure I pull up the correct picture right here. We're going to go into speculation mode here just a little bit, all right? So put on your speculation hats with me. So we hadn't talked about the AMG mini extravaganza planned for September 9th, 10th, and 11th. By the way, Dion's birthday is September 10th, if you didn't know. So AMG, I need from you a real nice present. Okay, I need from you a real nice present. So the speculation hat I want to put on is, what do we think we're going to hear about X-Wing? Now, in the last mini extravaganza, they did a lot of painting. It was basically 3 days of them kind of flipping. There was the I believe the announcements for the boxes, I think it was, right? The Squadron packs that we had. And they, I think, showed off some art. And I think we got some of those things. What do we think will happen? I want you guys to give me what is one thing that you think will happen and one thing that you would like. And, you know, let's throw a third in. What is an unlikely? Let's go shoot for the moon. Shoot for the moon. All right. Ryan, do you want to go first?
Sure. So likely what we want and shoot for the moon, correct?
Yeah.
So I believe this was mentioned on a past stream. It's always like past stream or a Twitter post or something like seriously. So it's hard to consolidate all that information, but I'm pretty sure I recall that they had mentioned that at least the points for the new wave will be a thing that's talked about during this mini extravaganza, whether it's going to be fully spoiled, partially spoiled, because I think when we were all speculating about Vader Defender, right, I think we got a small snippet when one of them was like, Vader's going to be this many points, and just said it on a stream, but didn't give us the whole PDF update yet. That was like a week later or something, so it wasn't that far off. So we're likely going to get some level of points information on the new wave. What I'd like to have is all of the points of the new wave. And hopefully, along with it, the points update and hyperspace update, everything all in one package, nicely neat for the players to enjoy a brand new meta along with the new wave. Super hopeful, shoot for the moon. Next wave images, right? New stuff. Do we finally get Mandalorian things? Do we get more things from the TV shows or movies? Is it stuff from Resistance? Is it Rebels? Is it Clone Wars? Is it Bad Batch? It'd be weird to see Bad Batch stuff before Mandalorian, but who knows how it all worked.
Will?
All right, so I already forgot the questions. I was enthralled by Ryan's answers. I forgot the questions.
Something you think? So a practical thing, a hope, and a shoot for the moon.
So practical thing, I think that another thing that you kind of like said offhand that may or may not be true, but I think that they're gonna actually announce the developers, like really come out with the team and like give, because right now we're putting all the pressure on Will, the like president, like the guy who like runs Atomic Mass Games, but he's like not out there designing X-Wing ships. So like I'm hoping they could just point the finger to somebody, get them on a live stream, have them like answering some questions and like talking about their design philosophy for X-Wing. I think that would set a lot of these aside if they with just one simple like conversation with the guy. What was your second one? I know the third one's wishful thinking.
Just like a small hope, a like light hope, and then shoot for the moon.
Light hope would be, I mean, I guess organized play. That might be a shoot for the moon, though, to be honest with you. But I'll say that just organized play. If they just say anything about maybe holding tournaments in the future, would be nice. The shoot for the moon, man. I mean, the craziest thing they could do would be like to just like drop a product like that day. Just be like, on our website, you can buy the new release or whatever. Because what we're waiting on for your first order.
Yeah, Fury
Is
the
that
first
right?
order and the
And
Y-Wings.
and the Resistance Y-Wing, September 24th, I believe, is the release date.
Yeah, if they were like, I guess you could already buy them from Asmodee, so maybe that's not that crazy. But maybe something smaller than an expansion like that. Like maybe, because they used to do, this comes from the convention models they used to do. We had the Darth Vader Legion, the Silver Naboo, you know what I mean? It'd be cool if they could put something on the website that's like mini extravaganza, special only product, limited time. I think that would be cool, but probably unlikely.
Marcel?
Okay. So what they will likely do, I think what they'll likely do is, God, I'm trying not to be, okay. I think they'll probably lean a little bit on FFG and announce some of FFG produced products, which I guess will probably be, if I'm guessing, they'll probably announce the Razor Crest. I think Mandalorian is just Mandalorian's super popular, and maybe even, I don't know, Clone Wars type things like maybe like a scum mall. What do they call it? I never saw the Clone Wars, but it was like a spider mall or something. Like a mall scum pilot, or a I didn't even know that Mandalorian redheaded lady. I don't know. You guys are gonna kill me. Like the one that was in the Mandalorian, but I know she was also in the Clone Wars.
Bo-Katan?
There you go.
There we go.
We know what you're talking about.
Redheaded, yeah. I mean, I know her from
Wow.
what was that show? The Galactica, Battlestar Galactica. That's where I know her from.
Was she Starbug in that? Is that the same person?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think that's what'll happen. We'll get Battlestar Galactica star, or one of those Clone War characters, Razor Crest, and what I would hope happens is the same thing. I doubt it, but it's the same thing that Will said. I hope there's a little bit of communication about organized play. The little breadcrumbs would be local organized play, like just give me at least some store kits or something like that. But ideally some long range, like, hey, here's the path to win your invitation to Worlds, and even not tell us what that path is just saying like there will be a path, there will be a progression, there will be a season, not just like individual rando store kits. So that's what I hope will happen. What I doubt will happen, is I doubt we'll hear anything development-wise beyond what FFG has already produced. Maybe the team. Ryan said maybe announcing what the team is, but I don't think we're going to hear anything that's not FFG produced. It's just there's still too much in the pipeline that FFG has for AMG to say this is what we're gonna do, because then there's just a long release schedule that they got pushed back by COVID, I believe. So so we're probably not gonna hear anything like that.
All right. So, man, you guys took a lot of the low hanging fruit, but I mean there were fruit that need to be picked. So that's good. As for things that I think we will see a Mandalorian model. I think we'll see the Razor Crest model that in September. I'm calling my shot there. I think we're gonna see the Mandalorian model. And the reason I guess that is because they let slip during their talks earlier in the year that they had in hand already the FO bombers. And this was like months before we even saw a picture of it. So they were already talking about that during the last mini extravaganza. Okay. So that's what I think. I think we'll end up getting to see that. As for a hope, I'm hoping, and this is my a light hope. I don't think it's too far ahead, but if they want to instill confidence, I think they should let us know, maybe not specifically what they're working on for X-Wing, but that they are actively working on an AMG designed X-Wing product. Like they are in the trenches right now, actively making decisions for the first AMG wave of X-Wing. My shoot for the moon is that they tell us what it is, and it's Dr. Aphra's ship. That's what I want.
Who?
Do you know who Dr. Aphra is?
It sounds like
Very,
that.
very popular Star Wars comic character. Started in the comics just from one of the early Marvel series. Very popular character with a very popular co-cast of characters for sure.
Never
Yeah,
made it to the screen.
No,
Not
you know,
yet.
000 and BT1 though, don't you? Yeah, that's her droids.
Those are her droids, yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, her ship is super cool. Kind of has almost like it's called the Archangel, and it kind of has like almost like a stingray kind of look. It's really neat.
It's got to be large base. It was almost seemingly close to epic size. It's hard to tell when Vader's tie can dock with it.
Well, they'll probably have to scale it down like the Ghost, right? Like the Ghost is definitely scaled down for X-Wing. It's huge already.
Well, I mean, like realistically, the YV-66 boss ship should be like epic size. It's actually like Z95 and multiple ships can dock, and it has its own like mini hangar bay. That thing is big, actually.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my pipe dream there. But yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of this. We'll be paying attention to it. What we don't have yet is the schedule. So we know that it's going to be the 9th through the 11th, but for the last one they released like, hey, at this time slot we're going to be talking about this product, which Ryan, you had previously mentioned, you know, the likely reason for AMG announcing that they were taking a break from Armada, all right, that Armada wouldn't be actively developed, is that during the mini extravaganza, they want to focus on what they are doing, not what they're not doing in this week. So what I'm hoping is that means that there's more space to talk about X-Wing. In the last mini extravaganza, did they talk about Armada? Was that on their schedule?
I think there was one or two things at most, and I'm pretty sure one of them was a painting-based thing. But I think there might have been,
Because they were still announcing Clone Wars ships at that point.
yeah, there were the very iconic Venator Star Destroyer for the Republic, one of their other big ships, and then two of the Separatist ships that they were either already announced by FFG, but they never had like physical like showing what they look like. And I distinctly remember part of the stream them showing off the model of like the Recusant or the Invisible Hand, basically.
All right, so let us know, if you're in the chat right now and you got your probably your I hope so and your shoot for the moon, put them in the chat, or if you're watching later on YouTube, put it in the comments down below. Because speculating is fun, speculating is fun, and we'll see what we end up getting, and then you get to say that you're right if you guess something correct. So the next thing we're going to talk about today is future GSP stuff. And if you didn't see on Discord, I put up a little survey. Okay, it was 5 questions, and I want to have an open conversation with Marcel, Ryan, and Will, because they didn't know I was going to put out this survey today. I just did it, and I want to kind of bounce some things off of you guys. I want to have an open conversation of why I asked these questions, and kind of go from there. So let me go ahead and pull it up here so that we start from the first question. Here we go. So the first question I had asked was, if you only had two choices for watching non-tournament X-Wing games live on Twitch, which would you prefer? Either in person without any commentary, maybe just an open table mic, and TTS with commentary. And there was an overwhelming amount, 33 to 361, to saying, I would prefer TTS with commentary. Now, why did I ask this? Marcel knew right away why I was asking this. And that was, we're starting to be in person pretty soon at Pastimes. I'm super excited. I'm super excited about it, to be able to play X-Wing with our locals again. But, over the last year and a half, people have expected GSP X-Wing with commentary every Wednesday. Now, sometimes we've shaken it up, but the reality is that the most successful days are those where we have active commentary and games scheduled. But at the same time, I want to play X-Wing. So what do we do? And the answer is I don't know. And probably the first week that we go back, I'm going to just take the Wednesday off, to be completely honest, and just take a break. Take a little break, play some X-Wing, focus on that for a little bit. But
so I've got a question for you, Dion, because I know you want to jump off, but I want to talk to Dion, my friend Dion, not GSP host Dion. So my friend, okay, I want to talk to my friend.
Okay.
You like X-Wing?
I love X-Wing. Yeah.
You like playing X-Wing? You love your channel.
I do.
Love doing your channel.
I do.
So, and you love the people that watch, and you love like producing the content. Like, so there's only so much you can do in your time, because you also obviously love your family, and you've got.
I in fact
the picture.
do.
Yeah. I saw the super cute picture of was it Pokemon backpack?
Yeah, Arwen's Pokemon backpack.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's, again, and this is just more as a friend, I think it benefits you, and it benefits the channel, and it benefits the community for you to get just some, get out of isolation, go in and play X-Wing with your old friends, with James, Brandon, all the guys, even if it's not every week, just, every other week or occasionally. And if that content of, just basically table mic on a table on a game that's kind of like, messy, because that's usually how we play our league games, messy.
Oh, yeah.
If that content is not appropriate for the channel, like it's not the same quality that people gotten used to.
Yep. Victim of my own success there a little bit.
It is kind of a victim of your own success, but one of the benefits of your success is that you've groomed a lot of people who can pick up and say, hey, you know what? Twice a month, I'm going to handle the commentary on Wednesdays, and Dion is just going to hang out with his friends and play some X-Wing. So, again, this is more of selfish Marcel saying, hey, let's go play X-Wing in person type of thing. But I think it'll benefit you, because it'll also get you kind of like reacquainted with the roots, like, what do they say? Like, go back to your roots, go back to what started it all. So that's right. Again, it's probably a little bit of a selfish take. Yeah.
If I can jump in, I mean, me, Ryan, as you said, Marcel, there's a lot of people in the community dealing that could jump on. We could have the best of both worlds in person with commentary. But I'm sure you'll find the best solution for everything.
Yep, and I was thinking about the remote commentary for sure. Was thinking about that as an option, because what I don't want, and again, we're having a very honest conversation right now, is I know some people are joking like, oh, just let some guys kind of sit around a mic and talk about your games while they're going on. That's not acceptable to me, to be completely honest. Like, it needs to be, like, I know that you might not be able to be, Dion Morales, but like I know if Will was doing it, I would trust Will to do it. If Ryan was doing it, I would trust Ryan to do it. But I also know that they have lives. So there's
Noticing how you did not say if Marcel were doing it.
Oh no, that was
I would not trust myself either. I mean, I get it, but I just
Marcel, you are a great co-commentator. You are a great co-commentator. As a lead, that's just not where your heart is, and that's okay. Everybody has their role. Honestly, I think if you wanted to, you could, but that's not your relationship with X-Wing, and that's okay.
Nah, I'd rather play.
Yeah. So that is, that's one of the logistical things that we're trying to figure out. So I bring this up full circle here. It's to tell you that some type of change is coming. I don't know what it is. Don't worry. Saturday mornings, they'll still be there in their regular form. And there's another question in here that's kind of part of the Saturday morning thing. We'll get to that in a second. But that's why I wanted to bring it up. So we'll head to set question number 2, and that was just my curiosity with this, this beautiful problem that I have, because I'm gonna get to see my friends again. So I'm super excited about that. It was, has your local X-Wing group started playing in person again? Like, I was just kind of curious, like where people are, and the options were yes, no, and I don't have a local group. And that third option was there on purpose, because we do know that it was some of our online community members that they were really glad when the online scene really got picked up, especially by such by groups like Hexiled Gaming and Gold Squadron, because now they felt like they had a community, and not everybody has people locally that they play X-Wing with. So we had 290 people say that yes, my local group has started playing. 63 says no, they have not, and 45 says I don't have a local group. So what we're kind of seeing here is, yeah, there are some people who are out there. There's a good number of people who are out there playing with their groups, because I'm thinking, we definitely have some clusters of people in the same groups, but there's a good number of people out there who are playing, which is great, because I know that we're about to come online here at Pastimes as well, which we're super excited about. So we're just kind of curious where that is. The third one is alluding to kind of what I've been talking about in bits and pieces here, and I asked if there was a premiere style event in person. An in-person premiere style event in Chicago in March 2022, would you be interested in learning more about that? We had yes, no, and I'm not ready to play in person yet, which is absolutely fine, which is why I put it on there. Yes, we had 248 people go, yeah, I want to know more about that. 94 going, nah, and 20 going, just not ready yet, which is absolutely fine. What am I talking about? Well, I have meetings coming up with Adepticon. Okay, March 2022. That's exactly where Adepticon is coming, and I don't have any formal announcement yet. But right now, I'll let you guys know that I am working with Adepticon to figure out what is X-Wing going to look like there. Because I will tell you, to me, that's a very important event. It means a lot to me for several reasons, okay? It was my first premiere event was ever there. It was the first place I ever met Will, all right? The first event where I was able to meet Ryan. The first event like that I got to hang out with Marcel and just kind of be at a premiere event was at Adepticon. The first place I actually met D. Yoon and Ryan Farmer and a lot of the like X-Wing names that you know was at Adepticon. It was, the first System Open was there. I mean, there was in the United States, like it is a huge important thing to me, and I want to make sure that when Adepticon goes live again, which they're planning on doing it here in 2022, that X-Wing is back there, and I'm making sure to take an active role. What is that going to look like? I don't know yet. But I got you, and I will tell you, if you're wondering, like, what about AMG? Are they going to be a part of it as Modi? The door is open for them, and I'm ready to receive them with open arms. Let's go.
Can I make a prediction?
Prediction.
William will be on the final table.
Oh, already.
I gotta practice my turrets again. Back to the old turrets.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And Robert Cretter in the chat says hotel room blocks already went on sale for Adepticon. They did. They don't even have they don't even have events announced that they opened them up. People are excited. They're ready to get going. All right. Now, related to my first question, kind of, plus second question is the fourth question, is would you be interested in participating in a TTS online league hosted by Gold Squadron? And we had about 200 people said, yeah, I'm interested. And about 143 saying, maybe, meaning like, I'd like to know more stuff. And I get that. You don't know the details and all that. And I don't even know what it would be. It was just curious. It seems like there's interest. We'll figure something out for you guys. And last but not least, would you be interested in a team tournament? You know, with this interest in there, I know some people say, hey, I want to play on a team. You know, maybe we'll do something out there. But there are, you know, there are a lot of, there seems to be some interest. We'll see where that is. And these are different areas I'm going to be exploring. Because I know sometimes people just wonder, hey, Dion, are you thinking about this? I'm thinking about lots of things all the time. So I'm giving you an insight into my brain on the feelers that are starting to go out and what to anticipate. And maybe I'm going to ask more questions. Kind of what are your thoughts on, you know, diving deeper on this as I start to do research for these. But I'm excited to see what we have coming up, because we are going to keep it going strong here at GSP, because we love X-Wing, which is important. And I see that I have important messages from Gold Squadron that I'm not going to click on, because I'm assuming that's for my eyes only. All right, man. We really went all over the place today. Any thoughts on those questions, guys? Thoughts, ideas?
I like the team tournament. I think we when we did the Vassal team tournament, we did with just 3 players, me, Marcel, and Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be the way to go, so that it's not as big of a production, if that makes sense. I guess because the 7 people teams is intense, like months.
Mm-hmm.
So many rounds. Marcel, you're shaking your head at that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. For something that is not once a year thing, I would not encourage 5 or 7 team events. 5-team event maybe for like an in-person, like Outrider or something like that, where it's like an in-person thing and it's like one and done weekend type of thing.
Yep.
But I did enjoy that 3-team, even though I didn't do anything but play. William and Justin did everything, and they're like, hey, Marcel, this is what you're going to play, and this is what you're going to do, and this is what you're going to fly. Like, I just showed up and played, so that was kind of easy on my part. I don't know how much...
We did a lot of work for it.
Yeah, I don't know how much work went into it. But,
I
mean, I think we ended up in second place or something like that. We went pretty far, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and smaller teams could be a good kind of like in... I think a 3-person team is a good like introduction to team play. If you've never done it before, let's start at literally like it's the smallest would be 2, but really 3 is where you really got to start working on that communication and pairings.
And even doing the same kind of pairings as XTC, like the final 3 teams that you had was always like the most critical. So you can still get a lot of like rock paper scissors type of matchups that are mind games itself with only 3 players, and it's easier to manage. It's easier to find teams. And like William said, it's just not as intense. And I don't know how many people want to do months of intense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. So just thoughts there. Always fun. We got. I have allotted. We got about 7 minutes left before I start like really pushing for the ending. Anything else you guys want to bring up from the XTC weekend? Thoughts about the future? I mean, I don't know. This is just free time at this point.
Wasn't there a release or you said you wanted to talk about the shapes, the missiles?
Yes. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. You are correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's not quite a missile, but it is.
Yes, the Electro chaff.
Well, it's the missile breaker. Yeah.
It's
Electro
a template delivery system.
Sure is.
Yes, I gotta pull it up here. Give me one moment. So AMG, somebody went out and just messaged AMG, was like, "Hey, can you tell me what this thing does?" And AMG went like, "Okay, here's the information." And everybody was like, "What?" They just went out and told you. It was quite fantastic. Let me find the image. Do we have a copy of that? Yes, we do. All right. Let me go ahead and switch. So right there is the message from AMG. Atomic Mass Games can confirm an Electro chaff cloud has the following effects on ships. Can one of you guys find the image of the Electro chaff card? Do we have that somewhere so people know what we're talking about?
I could try to find it.
Let's see if we got it. Sorry, you guys can tell how prepared we were
in our notes
for this.
So I'll check there
for this segment. I found it. Oh, I lost it. Try again. There we go.
Yeah, you took a thumb out of one.
Yep. Bam, right there. There, the Electro chaff missiles, one charge. What does that do there, Ryan?
It is a missile and payload upgrade, so you require both slots. 2 pips, so like the tracer missiles, you can only have 2 of them in your entire list. During the system phase, you may spend 1 charge from this card to launch 1 Electro chaff cloud using the 3 bank or 4 straight template, then place 1 fuse marker on it, and this card's charge cannot be recovered.
There you go. And now the Electro chaff cloud, if you don't know what that is on the back of the first order box. There's this like electric cloud looking thing. I kind of roughly outlined it there. But now we have the ability. What does it do, Will? We can't hear you, Will.
You're muted.
You're still muted, Will.
Well, now I can say it now. All right. So, it says, while a ship is at range 0 of an Electro chaff cloud, it cannot be locked, jammed, or coordinated by other ships. After a ship moves through or overlaps an Electro chaff cloud, it skips its perform action step, then it gains 1 jam token and breaks all locks on it. While third thing now, while a ship defends, if the attack is obstructed by an Electro chaff cloud, it rolls 1 additional defense dice. So you have to keep in mind that this is the weirdest remote / obstacle. I guess it's mostly obstacle, but it's a temporary obstacle. With that fuse charge on it, it will stay there when the first ship hits it, which some of these wordings, it seems like there could be advantageous abilities to run into your own Electro chaff cloud. Either hide behind it or run into it to block or to break a lot of locks on you. Granted, you would be jammed if you do that, but take the advantage when you can get it. But you could launch it onto like 2 ships. You just launch it 4 straight, hit 2 ships with it, and they would both skip their activation phase or not their activation phase, their perform action step, and would get a jam as well. That's a lot of things going on with it.
I got a question with the phrasing of it. So it says roll 1 extra dice when defending.
Mm-hmm.
Where does it fit in this? It's not a debris. It's not an obstacle.
Like,
so
it's a temporary
does trick shot. Does trick shot work? Does Han Solo? I don't know that those.
I was trying to look up to see, is there any wording that we may have, like, because looking at this image, it doesn't say it's an obstacle. Can we go back to the card? Does it say it's an obstacle?
It says it's a device.
Well, all bombs. Well, bombs are devices.
It calls it just an Electro chaff cloud. This might be one of those situations. Do you guys remember that the rig cargo was categorized initially in the rules reference as a device and not as an obstacle? So I'm guessing that it's going to end up being classified as an obstacle. Is my guess.
I get where Marcel's going to be quite confusing if this was obstructing a shot, but so was another obstacle. So, like, are you doing the obstacle die and this die because it's not an obstacle because it tells me to do another dice? Like, what's the situation?
I'm going to refer to the update they made to fuse markers that nobody understood why they said any. Like, essentially, the question was, how could we fuse an obstacle? Because they added to fuse marker or obstacle in addition to device, and then talked about how a fused obstacle would be removed, just like a mine that was fused would be removed. So I think this would be an obstacle. There'd be no reason to put it into the rules if it was just a device.
Is there a possibility that the only function of the fuse is to protect it from things like seismic charges? Like, it's not actually a one-time.
No.
It's not actually hit it, effect, hit it again, effect, and it's gone. Is there a possibility for that?
Think about it. You launch it, you move through it, and then on the way out, you drop a seismic behind you and blow it up on your way out. I mean, there
is advantages to running through it. Like, it does break all your locks. It gains one jam token and breaks all locks on it. So, like, I'm trying to imagine, like an HMP gunship build that they just acquired a bunch of locks through probe droids, and you just smashed through the shaft cloud right before engagement.
does it say? I mean, do you even take the little marker off when you fly through it? I mean, it doesn't say like remove it when flying through it. So
that's what I'll read the sentence from fuse marker that they updated. When a fused obstacle would be removed, one fuse marker is removed from the obstacle instead.
But
so we just need to know if it's removed. We need to know if it's removed, whether it's when someone goes through it, which isn't described on either the card or the text by AMG so far, or if it's a type of, because chaff as a thing in other sci-fi or other technological things doesn't something that stays there the entire time. So it may just be it's there for 2 turns instead of 1 turn type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That it could last 2 rounds and not 2
like
activation. Because I guess that's true. I'm thinking more of it as a mine than a bomb, but it could be bomb timing on that.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, because it could also be like when you
ship
seismic
flies
it.
through it, like the cloud starts to disperse, right? So it could be either one.
I don't think it would be balanced if you could launch this into a swarm and have 8 ships hit it and have it not go away. That would be absurd.
Man, if that were true, then it's another reason to not fly a whole bunch of ships. The meta's already down on the swarms.
This is very true.
Further down.
I heard a little bit of salt there.
Alrighty. Well, it's now we know what it does, or at least mostly. We still have some questions, but I'm excited to see. September 24th is what? Is there 31 days in August? There are. So 25 days away until we have the box opened and we have all of the information there. We'll know soon. So that's the Electro Chaff update. If you hadn't heard it yet, you got it here. But this episode of Gold Squadron is wrapping up. Today was great. We hit a lot of different things, riding a high. And by the way, if you're not watching the podcast and you're only listening, you did miss out the outfit coordination that we have. All 4 of us have our Team USA T-shirts on, USA Strong. I did the opposite arm because I was looking at the reflection. Very nice. Whatever. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. You guys, any shout outs? I mean, Marcel and Will might have some. Ryan, to your construction crew or something. I don't know. What do you want? You want to shout out anybody?
I'll start. But just a big shout out to Bartaj, FIFO, who were running the event. A lot of the work fell on them. Luckily, Bartaj didn't have to play in it because he's from Poland. That's what's up. But no, sorry, it was a shout out, not a smack talk. And then to all the streamers, I mean, they Bartaj put together that kind of stream hub and really gave a shout out to a lot of the streamers and able to get because there was, what did we say, 90 games on stream, 2 streamers for every matchup, essentially. 2 streamers for all 5 matchups. So that was 90 games this weekend that were being streamed. So big shout out to, obviously, you, Dion, for doing it all weekend. Keeping it very sportsy, if that makes sense. Like, I really like when X-Wing really goes like full sports, like analysis, data, like live sports as well. That's huge. We don't normally see that in X-Wing. Getting the numbers down like as they're coming in, like real time. Like, I thought that was like super cool that you and the rest of the streamers were keeping up with that. Made it feel very interactive for, I think, a lot of people.
Marcel?
What about the rest of you guys? Anything from this weekend or life?
Just the team, just everyone. William, obviously you, Kenny, Tommy, Doug, Matt, Steve. I'm gonna forget someone, and it's gonna suck, but Matt, Steve, Doug, I said already. Carson, can't forget Lulo. Rebel,
man.
Resistance, Republic. Oh, Daniel. Daniel, Leon, there you go. I was like, I know I'm missing one.
I don't know. I was looking at the record and I saw that his 4 HMPs didn't do as well as we thought with the Zam and Vultures. But hey, he tried. You know,
They're fine because even that's why I was saying I don't take too much of a high on the 9-0s because even like the ones that do badly, like I did 3-3 during group stages, but I took some matchups that other people don't want it. Same thing with those HMPs. Those HMPs pushed the aces out basically. Doug and I wanted to fly aces. Will wanted to fly aces because boss punches aces. Like, we had ace punching lists, and the 4 HMPs was like a big. It's basically throwing down a proton bomb while you're playing and saying this is area denial. Do not put your ace here.
yeah, it serves a purpose. It's a strategical matchup list. It's one where you can put down and say, all right, I know what you're not going to pair against this, and I can filter you into something.
Yeah, so I could take that ace and give it to somebody else. Yeah. So all those, even the losses, are contributed towards the win. So that's So yeah, going back to like. Big ups to everybody that played on the team, but also congrats to all 10 teams. Even we were talking about Switzerland and Ireland, like being bottom. They're not the bottom. They are in 9th and 10th place out of 38. Like it's not the bottom. They are in the top quarter. They are in the top 25%. Is just that's how this weekend played out. So all 10 teams, and then also to the 38 teams, even teams that didn't perform so well, like Colombia did not do so well. Greece didn't do so well, but they showed up and they played and they kept on playing. And they, without all the teams that participated, it just wouldn't have been the hype that it was. And also to all the new little channels that popped up and we found out, it was really cool to see a X-Wing in different languages, especially in Spanish. I enjoyed the Spanish commentary. It's like watching like football in Spanish, like go, like I like the excitement. It was cool. I liked it.
Awesome.
And
Ryan,
so
you got any shout outs?
My stuff will kind of be a smattering of everything that was just mentioned. One, yeah, I do hope that there's more collaborative efforts in the future for these international level things for streaming purposes, or even smaller. You know, we call them small streams, but for some people, that's their streams, right? That's their people, their foreign language, their language, not their foreign language. That's foreign to us, but it's their nationality to them. So the more collaborative that we can get, the more tight-knit of a community, and the more fun and interactive we can all be across the board. Two, Marcel, you said everyone who's in the top 10 should be very proud. Yes, but there's one particular team that decided to boast about how good they would do and still ended up in the bottom three. Thank you, England, for proving me correct on that one. And three, the people that did the jobs for me this week in my home, they're getting paid. All right, I don't need to shout them out. They're getting my money. All right.
Shout out to you for making that money. All right.
I would like more, but that's what it is.
That's true.
I'm
It's
finding
true.
as you complete things with your home and you get things done, there's just more things below the priorities that start to surface back up.
Yep. That's always fun. And for me, just shout out to everybody who commentated with me this weekend. We had some community commentators. We had Tommy and Kenneth on commentary as well, and it was just great to hang out with some budding talent in the commentary. I think we're gonna hear some more of those people again in the future. But it was awesome to have commentators and to comment on what you were saying, Ryan. I guess sorry, Ryan. You're all beautiful. I was actually talking about Marcel. To comment on what you were saying about having so many streamers. I'm not ready with this yet, but I figure I might as well just drop a cookie here because it's something that people have been asking for a while. So Dion, would you be willing to have more streams for Gold Squadron events? And the answer is soon. Working on some logistical ideas. We just lost Will, which means that it's time to call it a day. Thanks for watching, everybody. We saw Will just kind of he like faded out. Are you still here, Will?
Yeah, you disappeared from our little interface for like a second, but like you were still there,
I'm
but
back
not
now.
there.
He has risen. He's back.
Will.
But yeah, so hopefully we can get some more of that. I got some things in my on my idea board. I'm cooking up some stuff for the Galactic Championships. That way we can really get that out there. So more information to come. And if you are an X-Wing streamer, keep your radar out. I got some ideas here. But that's it for today, everybody. Thanks for watching. And can you guys like click the turn off camera button like one in a row? I think it'd be a really cool effect. Like disappear, 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 and then I'll go Gold Squadron out. Oh, there you go. Disappear, and then disappear. Gold Squadron out. All right, that was cool. We'll edit it there so it actually stops. Bye, everybody.
Oh wait, you didn't actually stop.
I don't think you stopped.
I did it.